What is up, guys? This is JZNES back again with another video. This time a convention video, which is different because I don't think I've ever done anything like that. Actually, I'm 98,000% sure I never did anything like that. So this is going to be put up in like two sections basically. One section being kind of what I got, and then I'll show you like the convention hall and everything. And then second section will be like the arcade and this museum where they had all these like different video game systems and stuff there. So first I'm going to show you what I got, or this part might come after the part where I've shown the arcade, or the vendor hall, because that would make more sense. But yeah, basically this was Midwest Gaming Classic 2017. And as you guys might know, probably, that I'm going for a full NES set. So I'm going to show you all my finds for my NES set. I'm like 500 and some games along, so this got me to 52 games left to go. And I'm currently, well, 53, and then I'm currently at 52 now. So, yeah, so let's get started. I'll kind of give some brief mentions of each of these games, and we'll go from there. So, first thing I got, the big thing of the convention, which I got with a bunch of other games, but well, you know what? I guess I'll start with the other games first. This is all from one vendor. This is like the first vendor. This is the guy who had like all of the games. You know, he had like all the best stuff. You know, Little Samson this and Panic Restaurant that and whatnot, and all these games, Bonk and all this shit. It was like super expensive, and I was wanting to get Little Samson, but it was like $1,200, and I'm like, that's like most of my budget. I'm not going to do that. There's no point to that. I can get Little Samson anytime, but I got all these games from that same vendor at once at the very start of the convention. This is the first purchase I did, I believe, anyway. So I got James Bond Jr. there. It's just kind of uncommon. I've never really seen it before, and pretty good game. Not bad, not bad. I haven't gotten too far into it, but it's pretty unique so far. Crash and the Boy. Yes, that girl is a boy as well. Street Challenge. Very uncommon game. Kind of getting up there in price. It's getting ridiculously stupid expensive. Like, maybe not ridiculously stupid expensive, but you know, it's like $50, $60, $70 for a cart, or maybe it's like $100 now. I don't even know, but it was expensive. But you know, I got it here for the collection. You know, Crash and the Boy. It's got the Scott Pilgrim reference going on there. So then I got one that I've never seen before. I've seen the Super Nintendo version, the Genesis version a whole ton, but Gemfire, which is really uncommon for NES, and I got a pretty good deal on that there too as well. Yeah, $80 there, so not too bad. Another one off the list, you know, pretty uncommon. I've never seen it before, so I'd consider it pretty rare. So I got Frankenstein here, which I really wanted to be a better game than it was, but this game, it just sucks. AVGN was right. I wanted it to be something like Castlevania. I'm like, he's like, you know, it's just a poor man's Castlevania or whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, that's going to be awesome. But the controls suck dick, so it's not worth the asking price. And it's pretty uncommon, too. I've never actually run across it before this, so. Interestingly enough, though, it comes from Peoria, Illinois. I don't know if you can see that. It's not, lighting's not good enough to show it, but which is kind of near where I'm from, actually. You know, this is from, we went, the convention was in Milwaukee, too. I don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah, I got a pretty good deal on this, so glad to have that one off the list. Ghoul School, which is actually, I've never seen it before, I don't think. I think I might have seen it once, but I wasn't expecting much of this game, but actually this is a pretty decent, like, platforming, kind of side-scroller deal. Hard to explain, but I just wish I knew what I was doing in it, but it seemed alright from what I played. I mean, this could be like kind of a hidden gem on the NES, and it's actually not even too much so far. You know, like most NES games have like skyrocketed above like $50 now, so this wasn't that, and it's a pretty good deal, and actually kind of a, you know, a gem maybe. We'll see. Who knows? It's not broken by any means, like fucking Frankenstein over there, so pretty decent, you know. Next is one I'm really glad to get off the list. I was actually thinking of buying this before the convention, and I'm glad I didn't, because if you see there, now I have Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Focus, it's not going to focus for me. Anyway, but if you see there, very poorly in quality, this is the elusive Ubisoft version, which is a completely different game than the Taito version, which I already have the Taito version. I've seen that a lot of times, but this is the rarer and harder to find and like more expensive version, you know. But basically, they're not even the same game, and they have like the same cover and everything, which is a little confusing, you know. Like that's a pain in the ass. But I'm glad to have this off the list. It's okay. It's not the worst, but not the best either. So. Toxic Crusaders. You know, nerd, I have some dust in my asshole that you can blow out, but that'd be pretty good. That's probably where most people know this game from, is the AVGN episode, but it's, you know, it's based on Toxic Avengers and all of that. It's based on the cartoon based on Toxic Avengers, which is a trippy concept, but actually not a bad beat 'em up. It's pretty alright. It's very difficult, but once you kind of play it a little bit, you kind of get into it, and it's actually pretty good. I don't think it's a bad game by any means. I just think it's too hard for its own good. And losing the mop after like one thing, like why even have it then? You know, just like it's just like well, I'm gonna get to that one in a second. So Toxic Crusader, not bad. Just very difficult, you know. So. Next up is Swordmaster, which is just a really sort of uncommon game. If you've ever played like Castle of Dragon by Sega or whatever, it plays a lot like this, except this game plays a lot like that game, but and that's a lot more common if you kind of want to check that one out. But this one is not bad. It's just a side-scrolling kind of like hack and slash sort of thing. Not too bad, not too great either. It's okay, you know. But it's kind of an expensive and uncommon game. It's like this one is like $180 or something, but you know, it's like getting up there in price. I just figured I'd pick it up beforehand. So, yep. So I got that one from that vendor as well. Wayne's World. It's party time. Excellent, except it's not because this game sucks. But, you know, I haven't played it, so maybe it's not as bad, but it looks like it really, really, really fucking blows from what AVGN has shown. But a lot of games look that way when he does it. But this is a pretty friggin' expensive game, but I got it for, you know, $110, not bad. The label there has a little bit of damage up there, but it's Wayne's World. I don't care about having like a perfect label. It's a good deal. So I'm just glad to have it off the list. You know, I could subject my friends to torturing themselves with Wayne's World. You know, great movie, terrible game. So, Widget, which is actually an Atlas title, which is awesome because Atlas made some great games like Rocket Cats and Friday the 13th. I think is a good game. Like most people who don't think that's a great game at all, but I think it's good on NES here. And yeah, I don't know. This one is okay. It's not JZNES by any means, but it kind of feels the same since it's got that style, that same sort of art style or whatever. But it's just standard so far. I was kind of hoping it was going to be like a sort of hidden gem or whatnot, but you know, made by Atlas or whatnot. But it's okay. But I'm glad to have it off the list because I've been looking for it for a while. So Widget there. And then, finally, before I get to the big find from that vendor, I got Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, which I've really never heard much about, and actually, it's an okay game. The only problem is when you get hit, you lose enough times or something, or you. I think it's if you get hit. It's if you pick up. If you get hit, you don't have, if you pick up a new power-up, you don't have the, option to switch back to the whip, which the whip is, the best weapon, right? Or it's just like a decent, like, regular weapon. So, like, if it was like Castlevania where you could switch between your weapons or whatever, or if you had like a command to kind of do one or the other, that would be great. But it's not like Castlevania. It's just, it's okay. But I think that would have helped a lot if they would have had the whip be just like your default weapon, sort of thing. And then you could pick up like power-ups and stuff. So it's a pretty decent game, but that kind of hinders the experience a little bit. So, whatever. And then the big find, the biggest find of the entire convention, and the game I've been looking for and was hoping I would find there. And some guy there, when I told him I got Panic Restaurant, which is the game, it's Panic Restaurant. He was all like, oh, I see it all the time. I see it more than Little Samson. And I'm like, you know how many Little Samsons I've seen at these fucking conventions? Like 20, 40 of them. I've never seen fucking Panic Restaurant sitting around. This time, oddly enough, it was there a few different places. But yeah, I'm really glad to have this kind of a underrated. You know, if you've seen the Pat video, you know that this is a kind of a great hidden gem for the system. It's a good little platformer there, and a pretty good game. Fun fact about this game, actually, is that Kenji Eno of D fame actually worked on this game. Oddly enough, you know, the guy who made D on Saturn, and then Enemy Zero, and then D2, and he actually passed away more recently. But yeah, he had something to do with this game, which is like crazy to think about. But I don't know, it's a great game. I've just always been looking for it. You know, it's one of the top holy grails that I've always really wanted. You know, because not a lot of people have it, and that's kind of the. You know, if you have like a complete collection, you do, but like everyone always gets obsessed over Little Samson, and I'm like, well, I want to play Samson too, but this is kind of the, you know, it's not as expensive sort of thing, and that's kind of nice to, you know, just to have this off the list. It's the one I was really looking forward to getting the most, and it was in my first haul of stuff at the convention. I was really happy to just get it out of the way, you know, for sure. So that's the big one off the list right there, is Panic Restaurant, for sure. So yeah, I got all those from that guy. He actually ended up cutting me a deal, and this was at the beginning of the convention. This wasn't even like the Sunday or whatever. He cut me a deal for 10% off all that, because I bought just a ton of games from him, obviously. And it wasn't cheap, but I got a lot of big titles out of the way right there in that little thing. So I was more than happy to pay the man and run, as they say. But he was a nice guy. But I can point it out in the video once that part has, or maybe I've already pointed it out. I don't know. Anyway, one that I got after that, the next vendor, it was just some random vendor. He had Ghostline, which is a kind of an underrated RPG for the NES, lesser known kind of thing, and it does have a little bit of label damage right in here. Actually, it's right there. It is, but yeah, usually this trends for about like 60, so I got it for like 40-ish. You know, I talked the guy down. He had it like priced at like 60 or something. So like it was a pretty good deal. You recognize the label damage, and I was just like, yeah, can you do anything with me? And this is all at the beginning of the convention, so it was really nice of him to help me out with getting this game for a little cheaper. So. But I'm glad to have that. I want to put some hours into this because I hear this is actually a pretty decent RPG on NES, and Lord knows we don't have enough of those, you know. I mean, there's stuff like Swords and Serpents, but the Dragon Quest games, they haven't aged. The Dragon Warrior at that point haven't aged as well. You know, you play the Game Boy version, it's better, and all that. So you have that. There's not a lot of, you know, there's a lot of good action RPGs, but not quite enough RPGs on the system, you know. So. Glad to have another one I can try out. And then this one here was another one of those big finds that I'd been looking for forever. Actually, this guy in this Facebook group that I'm in, he had found one the other time, probably for nothing. I don't know what he paid for it, but I was super jealous, and I'm like, shit, you know, wish I would have gotten that deal. And he had a Tournament Fighters with it, which I didn't end up getting. I saw that there at the convention a bunch of times, but you know, just the price wasn't right and the timing wasn't right. But one I've been looking for a while, ever since I played it on emulation, is Gun Knack for the NES, obviously. Obviously, yes, that's what all these games are, if you haven't figured that out already. But Gunnak, which is a really great shooter here, very underrated. A lot of people are knowing of it now, but it's a good game. It's really good, and I've been looking for it for forever because it's just really uncommon. It always goes for like $200-300, and I got mine for $180, which is, I think, pretty solid price there. And I know the quality's not the best, but you can see it's in pretty minty condition there, which is awesome. I really wanted this game. It was awesome to finally pick it up, and yeah, happy to have Gunnak off the list. It's really fun. Might talk about it in the future at some point because it's great. Michael B, the Game Genie, who inspired me to do my set, or I was gonna do videos on the set, but I just never got around to it. But this still might come in the future, but we'll see. But he really loves this game, so I was always looking forward to getting it. So really great game, and glad to have it off the list. And then the story with this one is there was the same vendor who I got all that other stuff from, like most of the Panic Restaurant and all that. Another guy had come up to him and he asked, "Hey, have you seen this game? Is this game at the convention somewhere? Do you have it?" And he's like, "No, I don't have it, but I know that there's one at the convention somewhere else on the floor, and I know where it is, but I won't tell you. You just have to go look for it." And I'm like, "Well, shoot, I really want that game." Pat, the NES Punk, kind of recently reviewed it not recently, maybe it was like a year or two ago, but I was really looking for it because it's just pretty uncommon and stuff, and I'm like, well, shit, I'd like to get that game too, so I thought that the guy would definitely have beaten me to it, but lo and behold, I saw it, and I saw Die Hard there too at that same booth, which I didn't get the Die Hard, which sucks because I kind of should have just got that because it was it was only $110, which isn't so bad for Die Hard these days. It used to be like a $60 game, but I've never seen one, and they come up on eBay every now and again. They're always like super expensive. I should have just got it, but I didn't think to, or whatever, and I was weighing my options, I guess, or whatever, so I missed out on it. But the same guy who had the Die Hard had another game, but I just kind of let them both go, and we kind of went away to go get lunch or whatever. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, shit, I should go get that game because I never see it on eBay, and I never see it anywhere, and I don't think I'm going to run into it very well again. I might run into Die Hard before I run into this game ever again. And so I was like, I told the guys, I'm like, okay, we got to go back for this game. You don't understand. This is important. We got to go do this. That's a good price on this game. So we went back, and I didn't see it there at first in the case, so I'm like, well, shit, that and Die Hard are gone. And I'm like, well, fuck, I'm done. I'm screwed, There's no point. But then I spotted it, and I actually got Scoon on NES, which is becoming a lot harder to find, and I got it for $105 here, which is actually a pretty good deal on this game, especially since it's becoming more uncommon, and since Pat reviewed it, it's becoming more sought after. So I got Scoon here, which is awesome to finally have and get off the list, because I've never seen it. I don't think I will see it, and it rarely comes up on eBay for a good price, or for really at all, except for like the PAL version. So pretty uncommon game, Scoon there. I'm glad to have that one out of the way. Would have liked to have had Die Hard too, but I don't think I made out so bad. So, and then there was a booth that was a store, and they were selling just some common stuff, and I actually got 2 games from them. One being Treasure Master, which I was looking for because I thought, oh, Treasure Master, that's something I've never heard of. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and that's going to be good. That's going to be underrated. It's going to be a gem, right? And then I play it, and it's like, this game sucks. So it was only $10. Whatever. I think I bundled both of these for $25 too, so not a big deal. I'm just disappointed. I kind of wanted it to be better than it was. One of those kind of deals. And the cover looks really freaking cool, but the game itself is kind of not great, so whatever. But I also got Tombs and Treasures, which is kind of infamous if you've seen the Happy Console Gamer review of it. or Rob Man reviewed it. They talked about it in one of their episodes, both of them, and I know Rob Man reviewed it at one point, but it's supposed to be really like cryptic and convoluted, but it's nice to have just for the reference alone, kind of like a Dandy Sullivan's Indie Heat situation. I'm sure this is actually a pretty decent game, so worth the $20 I put into it. So, and then at some point during the convention, after we had gone to get Five Guys, that's what we went to get, because we don't have Five Guys around here. Five Guys burgers and fries. That is, we don't have that around here where I live. So we went to get that because it's kind of our tradition. And then we always go to this store before the convention, but just the way my friends' like schedule worked out, we weren't there the day before, so we were there just the night of. So the store would have already been closed by the time we got there because it was like really late. But we went there and I picked up some cool Blu-rays. I like to collect those, but also I actually ended up, the store is called Mega Media Exchange. It's kind of a few minutes from the convention sort of deal, so we always go there because they always have something. I mean, they've got some impressive stuff there. They've always got a big stock of stuff, so it's always fun to just kind of browse through there and stuff. And like last year I got like my Metal Gear Solid 4 like collector's edition there and stuff. It's pretty cool. But anyways, so I actually did end up picking up an NES game there as well that I was missing, and that's Star Trek The Next Generation, which actually completes my Star Trek set because I have the other one as well, which I got last Midwest Gaming Classic. So Star Trek there, it was like 20, I think, or something. So good, another game off the list, and that's awesome. What I got to make a media exchange there. And then there's also this other chain of place called Half Price Books, which we've gone to last year, and then there's like one elsewhere, like a few hours from here, that we went to one time. And but actually, that's where my friend got me. What game was that? My friend Nick got me Kickmaster there. That's what it was, Kickmaster. So that was cool. That was pretty uncommon, but and so I got Darkman there for like $15, but as you can see, it's riddled with stickers on the back, and if you can kind of tell, you see how it reflects there? There is tape here and onto the back, so if I were to rip that off, the label would come straight off. Now, I had this happen. The only reason I bring this up is because I had this. First of all, why the fuck would you do that? That's the stupidest shit to do. You know, some rental store. Wow, check that out. You can't even see it, but here, I gotta get that. That's actually cool. I never realized that. I don't know if you can even read it, but it says Showtime Video there in Bettendorf, Iowa, which is actually right here. That's right here. So this game is actually from this area, which is funny because maybe that means that the Darkwing Duck and those other games that I got, because I had a different experience where I got a bunch of games that had this tape like this and everything. Maybe the Darkwing Duck I got was actually from that same store. That'd be pretty funny, but yeah, I hate it when people do that. Why do they put the stickers all over there and tape? Who would put tape across the label? That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Friggin' video rental stores. Come on now. But yeah. So and then I got let's see. Yeah. So then that's what I got on the first day. That was everything, and we kind of just hung loose that day and did some more some fun stuff. We played Persona 4 and other things we just kind of chilled out and relaxed, had some dinner and stuff. And then on Sunday, which is the last day, so people are more reasonable to negotiate, I got, well, the first thing I got was a game I've been not really looking for, but just kind of wanted to get out of the way because it's kind of notable as being the last NES title released, which is licensed stuff, that is Jungle Book here, and it's gone up in price for some friggin' reason. It's super expensive now. It's like $60 frigging or something, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to spend that on it. But this guy had this marked at, I think, 40, and I talked him down. I said we take 20 for it or whatever. I don't know why I even was so bold to say half price, but you know, it was the final day. And he came back at me with 25. So I got this for 25, which, you know, for a $60 game, good shit, you know? Like, I'm just glad to have that out of the way. And it's actually in pretty decent condition, you know, pretty good. So for 25 bucks, of course I'm gonna pick up Jungle Book. And then one I've just never seen out and about. And it's supposedly a pretty common game, but I've just never run into it. And that is Starship Hector, which was $6, as you can see there on the little label, which is awesome. $6 NES game at this point, I'll take it, you know. It's not in the best condition, it's an alright condition. Starship Hector. And these are all, I don't really have any stories about most of these, I just got these from random vendors, but Krusty's Funhouse, which completes my Simpsons set, which is good. So now I have that, so whatever. Extra title for the set. Last Ninja, which the guy was like, this game is awesome. This game's not awesome. It's kind of not great. It's weird. I don't even know how to describe this game. It supposedly got Game of the Year there on this little label, as you can see, at some point. And I think they just put that on there just to sell the game, because this game is not great. But got that. I got Rocky and Bullwinkle, which, whatever. Not a good game. And then also Ren and Stimpy, which is funny because I had passed this up like a long time ago. It was just sitting at my local place for like 20 bucks or something. And I don't know what I ended up spending on it. It was probably less than that, but I think it was like 12 or something. But yeah, I just regretted never picking it up because I'd never seen it again until the convention. So, but you know, whatever. I got it now, so cool. And then we have... Okay, and then I went back to that same vendor who I'd gotten the Panic Restaurant and all that from, and I just wanted to see what he would do for me, you know, like what he had still, because I remember him having some decent stuff. And one of the things that was pretty decent that he had was a game that I'd been looking for, which was Jackie Chan Action Kung Fu there, which is a pretty good game. It's very well drawn. They had a TurboGrafx 16 port or something of it. That was like really cool, but you know, not the worst game. It's just pretty uncommon. It's really gone up in price, like super. I remember when this game was like $30, like when I started my set, and I should have bought it then, because now it was like, I think he was charging like $80 for it. But what I ended up doing was I wanted to bundle these two games together, which this one's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and this one was like 20, and this one was like 80. So he wanted like, or no, this one was right. No, yeah, that's what it was. And then he wanted like that, and I offered him like, can I just do like, you know, like 85 for both or something? And he's like, well, 90. So I did 90 on both of them. So whatever. I mean, this game alone was probably worth that. I mean, getting this one is just a bonus, so, you know, cool to have those. And then, that's pretty much it, and I might have gotten some of the, oh, actually, there's two more. Sorry, I put these over there. And then from another vendor who had a bunch of games I really wanted, like Tournament Fighters and Ninja Gaiden 3 and stuff, but I ended up passing on those because, he had G.I. Joe and he had Wolverine, and these two, he wanted 60 for this and 20 for this, and I was like, well, I really don't want to pay 20 for Wolverine because it's freaking Wolverine, you know. So I offered him 65, I think, for both, and he took it. So $5 Wolverine, not bad. So that completes my LJN set, which I'm really happy to have done, and my G.I. Joe set. So that's great. And then finally, like I was saying before, there was one other thing. I'd seen this from a vendor, and there's something I was never sure if I was really actually going to pick up or not, because it's just impractical to even play or use. But I figured it would be worth it to pick it up, so because it was just cool. I didn't know when I was really going to see one again, and I actually have some of the parts sitting, just that I bought like separately for the games, just sitting elsewhere. So I picked up Rob the Robot here for, I believe he wanted like 100 for just the Rob Loose, and I talked him down to 80 for just the raw blues, which was a good deal, and I'm glad to have it, and it's in pretty decent shape, and just a cool find to have, you know. Not that I'm ever going to use him, but he's a nice little piece of the collection. You know, he's one of the major accessories. So, yeah, so that's what I got, and I'm really happy with a lot of those finds and whatnot. And it took me down a bunch of games, so now I'm actually a lot closer to completing the set, which is really nice, you know. So yeah, I just figured I'd talk about the games I got there at the convention. So stay tuned for the arcade and the museum footage and whatnot, and possibly beforehand the convention footage. I'm sure I'll put it beforehand, but it's kind of so whatever. But yeah, stay tuned for that. As always, don't forget to keep it classic, keep it classic. Okay, don't forget to keep it classic and stick around for more reviews and underrated games. See ya.